Okay, so here's a tutorial for how to host a static website on Amazon. What we're going to be using is S3. This is just because there's no framework associated with this website I'll be using. I have a static website here already. You can see if I open up my index document, it looks like this. Okay, uses Bootstrap elements. So we're going to be using S3 to host it, which is a bucket. It's got 5 gigabytes of storage, 2,000 GET requests per month, and 2,000 PUT requests per month. Sorry, 20,000 GET requests per month. Okay, so I just searched up how to configure a static website on Amazon S3, and there's a nice little tutorial here, so we'll walk through it together. So first thing we're going to want to do is to create a bucket. Okay, so we sign into the console here. Just open that link in a new tab, choose create a bucket, and enter a bucket name. So I'm going to click create a bucket. Bucket name is going to be my example website. Okay, must not contain spaces or uppercase letters. We're going to select the region. Based on, we'll get quicker server times if we pick a server that's closer to us. Typically speaking, you just use United States. US East 1 and US East 2 are the most common. 1 tends to go down a little bit, so I'm just going to click 2. Really, it doesn't matter. It's just my preference here. Okay, so we're going to block all public access. We're going to want to change this. You can actually see down here, choose the reason where you want. You can create the default settings if you want. Block public access to buckets granted through new access control lists, through any control list, through new public block points. It's okay, we're going to actually select block all public access for now. Okay, bucket versioning, this is if you want to have different versions. So say you have a different version of your website and you want to go back and forth. I'm just going to disable it for now. We're going to go very easy here and just create the bucket. Bucket with the same name, it already exists, of course. So we have to pick a unique name. So let's just call it Matt Walk Bucket. I'm sure that won't be taken. Yeah. Okay. Next step, enable static website hosting. Okay, so we're going to sign in here. In the buckets list, choose the name of the bucket you want to enable static website hosting for. So that's this bucket we just created. I'm going to click here. Next thing we do is choose properties. So I'm going to find the properties. Okay, so we're going to select properties. Down here, we're going to want to enable static hosting. Let's double check. Doesn't say anything about that. Under static website hosting, choose edit. Okay, here we go. Edit. We're going to want to enable. Okay, we're going to want to host a static website. So we're going to want to specify the index document. For me, it's just named, you can see here as well, index.html. I'm not sure if there's an error document for this example, so I'm just going to leave it out. But if you have a custom error document, you can put that in here, and any redirect options.
You, that hurts
so I'm just going to hit save. Now we're going to go back to the tutorial. Use this bucket to host a website. Okay, let's find that. Here we go. So this should be the endpoint for our bucket. Yeah. Now that we've switched this to, we're probably going to want to have public access to our bucket, because if we actually visit the endpoint here, you can see that the access is denied because We are a public endpoint. So we're going to want to go back to where we had originally selected that, and the tutorial specifies this. We're just going to want to choose permissions, and we're going to want to edit the public access. So for now, let's just enable all public access. Later down the road, you can choose what you want to be able to access the website. For now, we'll just let everything access it. Okay. Step 4, add bucket policy that makes it publicly available. So under buckets, choose the name of your bucket. Choose permissions. Under bucket policy, choose edit. So permissions, bucket policy, edit. They come here with a very, this is public read access, so nobody can make any changes to your website. It's a very simple one here, so we'll just paste it in. Okay, let's save the changes. Oh. Did I do something wrong? Should be okay.
I love you so much.
Save changes. Policy has invalid resource. So we just have to change the bucket name to be what our bucket name is here. So Matt Walk bucket. Let's try doing that. There we go. So our access is public. It's warning us right now because that could be problematic, but we don't care. So we're going to update the resource to your bucket name. That's what we did. Choose Save Changes. We did that. Configure an index document now. When you enable static hosting in a bucket, enter the bucket. We did that. Upload an HTML for your bucket and configure the index document. So objects. Here is where we're going to want to upload the actual source folder. So I'm just going to drag and drop it in. And it seems to have uploaded everything. We can see that the total is only 2 megabytes here. And I'm going to click upload. So we can see here, if I go back and forth, there's quite a few different files in here. It spreads them all out. So somewhere in here, yeah, you can see is our index.html. Okay, the upload was a success. We're not going to configure the error document for now, but that's an option there. And lastly, we're going to test the website endpoint. So if I now go to access points, no, properties, what was it? Buckets, properties, bottom of the page, there's the endpoint. Specified key does not exist. Requested, host. Okay, so I paused for a second here just because I made a little error. So when you're uploading, if you upload for argument's sake, if I uploaded this source folder directly, I just dragged and dropped the source folder in. So in that case, the path to the index file is actually source/index. So what I did was I deleted the files and I just uploaded all of these. But either way, if you go to properties and go back to that, permissions and go back to that file that we uploaded and changed here to Matwalk bucket, you would have to change that to include the source directory. So it's just easier to upload the directory that contains the index file directly and just drag all of the files over. Okay, so now continuing where we left off, if I go down to properties and I check out the endpoint, you can see now that this exists. So there's a few things still left to do. For example, we don't have the certificate set up yet. But as you can see, this is a really quick and easy way to get a static website up and running. So if I now actually come back over here. Okay, so now we're going to set up SSL. So I'm going to in the console up top here in the search bar, you can just type in SSL, and there's a certificate manager. When you open this, you'll be greeted here, and we're going to want to provision a certificate. So we request a public certificate, and we enter the domain name. So in our case, I'm just going to be using the default domain name down here. So I'm going to copy the address, and I'm going to paste it in here.
I'm gonna go.
Okay, just remember to remove the HTTP and the trailing slash at the end. Now you can see that we can do a wildcard, right? So we can do star dot. So I'm going to put star dot. So that should protect both the default, if nobody put in the HTTP to start, as well as anything else like www dot. And lastly, we can, should be able to, oh no, okay, yeah. So this will automatically protect any additional pages within our website. Okay, so I'm going to click next, and this is where you would put your actual domain name when you have a domain name. You can set that up with Route 53 if you want and tie it to your bucket, or you can use whatever you have already. But anyway, I'm just going to hit next. Okay, so we can choose which kind of way to do this, DNS or email validation. I'm just going to continue with the default. Okay, and we can assign tags, but I'm just going to leave everything as the default, confirm and request. So this request is now in process, so I'm just going to pause the video again until the, additional verification required. I'm just going to figure this out real quick and then I'll be right back. Okay, so the reason why this doesn't work is because it's owned by Amazon, the domain name. So you just follow the exact same steps here, but you would put in your own domain name, whether you have that from GoDaddy or whoever. So Amazon can supply this certificate for you, and once again, without exceeding those very high request limits, you won't be charged for it. So this is the exact same process that you would go through. And when it's finished with your website, it should go through fine because you have a custom domain name. It should just say succeeded, and then when you visit the website again, you'll notice the certificate up here in the corner. So that's all you really have to do. I'm just going to delete this because for me it doesn't matter. Actually, I guess I can just leave it. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, if you have any more questions or there's anything you want to go over, shoot me a message. You can change the way that this points to by changing the website endpoints, right? So you can just go to access points and change that there to have it point to your custom domain name. But yeah, that's a pretty quick way to set it up, and for all intents and purposes, it should be absolutely free.